Hey Louis fans, Louis Vision here. How's the mic? Good. Lighting looks good. Got kind of a creepy atmosphere going on right now. None of our characters are in the background. The flag is gone and the closet door is open. Highly unusual. Who do we have here? No one in the chat yet. Alright, that's good. Yeah, I've been away for a couple of days. Almost a couple of days. Well, yeah, a couple of days. Now I'm back doing a late-ish stream, depending on where you're watching this from. I figured, Mr. Nightmare put something out yesterday. Could give that a watch. Been a while since I checked out one of his videos. Meant to do one of his Christmas videos late at night, but, never got around to it. Yeah, just been kind of stressed out the last couple of days. I'm good right now. Pretty solid. Yeah, so without further ado, let's push pause on our background music and let's get right into it. Mr. Nightmare does true scary stories, creepypasta, if you will. And he's pretty good at it. All right. Collecting them and making them, the ones that are his, are pretty damn good.
It was an ordinary evening like any other. I was in my room watching TV while my mom was downstairs making dinner.
Okay.
I had my door shut as I usually did because I like my privacy. My room actually connected to the attic, because technically my room was never meant to be a bedroom, but it was made into one since I was one of 4 kids. So oftentimes I would hear little cracks in the ceiling just because the attic was right above my room.
Okay.
And there were heavy boxes putting constant pressure on the ceiling, so I was a little used to it. But there was one crack that was just too loud. So loud that it actually made me jump.
Oh shit. What's
I
funny
almost
is
wanted to pull the attic door down and go up there,
watching
but I gave it the benefit of the doubt and assumed it was just pressure.
I don't know if you guys can hear that.
That and the fact that I was also scared to go up there. I was scared of that attic my entire childhood, and I hated having it connected to my room. During dinner, I told my mom about the abnormally loud crack and expressed my fear to her. She told me there's nothing up there besides boxes, junk, and mice. She followed the mice part up with a smile to let me know she was kidding. The rest of the night after dinner, I stayed in my room watching TV and playing video games.
Don't have an attic, but I do have that open closet. That very ominous, mysterious open closet. What's in there? Just trying to set a mood.
Even after everyone went to bed, I was still playing, deep into the night. I had the volume lower so that I wouldn't wake anyone up. We had paper-thin walls in that house. I thought I heard another crack in the ceiling. Not as loud as the one from earlier, but still concerning enough to make me pause the game and listen. There was nothing now. I was having a bit of an adrenaline rush, so I grabbed the stepladder and pulled down the attic door. There was no light up there, you just had to use a flashlight to navigate.
Oh shit.
I didn't go in though, I just peeked my head in through the opening. There was nothing I could see except piles on top of piles of boxes. So it seemed like it really was just the weight of one of the boxes putting pressure in the ceiling.
You guys, one night we were watching ghost footage, and there was one with footage from like a documentary. It might have just been like ghost cases, I can't remember, but this guy, he went up into the attic with a flashlight. On his way down, there was a string wrapped around his neck, and if he had fallen off the ladder or anything like that, he could have hung himself. And it's like, whoa, if that was like paranormal, that is some devious effing demonic presence. But This guy doesn't usually do paranormal stuff. If there's someone in the attic, it's an actual person.
I planned on telling my mom that we should check it out the next day.
We'll see.
I was a bit relieved as I went back to playing video games. I turned the game off about an hour later and finally decided to go to sleep.
Hopefully the mic isn't crackling a bit. It's been crackling lately. Hopefully
After a
not too
while,
bad.
though, I started to hear something from above
Bearable,
me.
I think.
It wasn't the regular cracks I was used to hearing. These were more like thumps.
Mic is cracking.
They were constant and moving.
Attic is cracking.
It literally sounded like footsteps. The thump stopped right above the attic door, and there was silence.
Someone living in his attic. Maybe a
I
ghost.
stared at that attic door so intently, waiting for something to happen. But when I saw the door slowly begin to lift, it didn't feel real. Even though I was expecting something to happen, I wasn't prepared for the door to actually open.
No kidding.
I got out of bed as quietly as I could and tiptoed to my mom's room. When I explained, she nudged me to stay in her room as she left to get my brothers.
Uh-oh.
After a minute of waiting in silence, I heard a commotion from my room. It was my two older brothers yelling aggressively, and my mom screaming at them to come here. Apparently whoever was in the attic was gone though, because both of my brothers went up there and didn't find anyone. My mom also heard the noises in the attic, but didn't know what to think of it until I came and told her about the door opening.
Oh man.
I didn't hear any noises anymore after that day, except for the usual occasional cracks in the ceiling.
Crap. Imagine seeing that. Imagine if you don't have an attic in your room, but you have a closet. For a while. Yeah. Just imagine that closet is closed and all of a sudden just one evening starts opening slowly, followed by some footsteps. I'm just going to keep using that closet as an example for something.
I rented out a small single-family house in a town close to my job. It was only a temporary thing. I only planned on being there for a few months at most.
Oh yeah, that's like me.
The landlord was hard to get along with because he seemed off.
I'm a tramp.
That didn't help
traveling
really.
hobo.
It was the first week of my being there. Since it was just me living in the house, I didn't need a lot of space to store things. The house did have an attic, but I never felt the need to go up there. I just stored mostly everything in either the garage, the spare rooms, or the closets. Not that there was much living space, though. One day, though, I did kind of want to see how much space was up there, so I tried to pull the attic door down, but it didn't budge. Then I noticed there was a tiny lock on the attic door. I was never given a key by the landlord, so the next day I called him and asked about the lock. He told me the attic was off limits and was never included in the price of rents.
What?
I wasn't exactly sure if he could legally do that, but I was paying a good price and I didn't want to mess it up. The next morning I went to my fridge to grab some milk and then the cereal from the cabinet. As I took the cap off the milk carton, I questioned if the amount of milk in the carton had gone down. Surely I hadn't drank that much.
Shit.
Had I?
It's going to say somewhere in the agreement that the landlord was allowed to rent out the attic to someone else. Like fine print type shit. Or maybe someone's just living in his attic.
Guess I took a late night trip to the kitchen that I didn't remember. The next morning, as usual, I came to the kitchen to have breakfast. Everything seemed to be normal, but come lunchtime, it seemed like some of my cold cuts were missing. I had to start to wonder if I was going crazy or if something was actually going on here. Why did it seem like some of my food was disappearing every day? I actually started to look into buying a camera system for the house on the Best Buy website. I did some research on cameras before going to sleep. That night I woke up around 4 and really had to pee.
He's planning on buying a camera.
I tried to hold it and just sleep it off, but the urge was too much. So I eventually got out of bed to head to the bathroom.
I've been there.
But on the way to the bathroom is the attic door in the hallway.
Oh shit.
And at first I thought I was seeing
things. It's your house, dude.
But after rubbing my eyes, I could see that the attic door was really open.
Oh.
All that ran through my mind were the words, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
There was a pull-down ladder leading up to the attic.
Not a deadbolt, I guess.
I had to see what was up there. I took a bright, heavy-duty flashlight from my room and
You
went
look
up
in
there.
the attic instead of looking around first?
The flashlight was so bright, it lit up a huge chunk of the attic.
Okay.
It was a very big attic for the size of the house. I was surprised. But what surprised me even more was the twin bed tucked away in one corner of the attic, with a clothing hamper next to it. There were also clothes scattered all over the attic. But perhaps most disturbing was the TV mounted on the wall that had my bedroom on display.
Oh man,
I guess
what?
I hadn't noticed the light from the TV screen because I was holding the flashlight the whole time. But I knew I had to get out of the house.
Yep.
But someone was at the entrance of the attic now,
Oh,
by the
God.
attic door.
That's what you get for not checking
First, only their head was visible, but their bodies slowly emerged into the attic until they were crawling towards me.
Wow. Oh,
I was
God.
able to distinguish the face to be that of the landlord. His expression was so
him.
dry and emotionless, it still haunts me to this day. As he crawled over to me, his eyes open wide, he kept putting one finger to his lips as he said, "Shh." He didn't speak any words. He only went, "Shh."
Fuck.
It was a
Creepy
miracle
dude.
that I was able to get around him in time before he could get to me. I went down the ladder and pushed it up, closing the attic door.
You know, I think that first story may have been paranormal. Ooh, he doesn't do many of those, Mr. Nightmare.
I knew he would be out shortly, so I took my phone from
This
the
one
nightstand
actually has a
and
guy
ran
in the
for it.
attic.
I ran outside and called the police. The landlord wasn't there when the police arrived, but I had all of his information, and he was found the next day at his brother's house in a nearby rundown town.
Jeez.
I moved to an apartment 2 days later, and when I plan on buying a house, I know
Some
now I'm going
people.
to avoid any houses with attics.
Man. Alright, we're on to the final story,
When I was
guys.
little, my brother, sister, and I always played hide and seek when we were home alone, because it made us feel like we had full access to the house, and any room could be a hiding place.
Hide
We
and
always
seek is a
did
fun
one
game.
seeker, 2 hiders. The first person to get caught loses the round,
Oh,
or if the
this
seeker
family.
didn't find either hider in 5 minutes,
They
they
have a
lost the round.
projector and a
the first
TV?
to 3 points won. I lost the first round. I still remember that somehow, and we were on the second round. I was hiding again. My sister was seeking. My brother and I dispersed from the living room, which was considered the starting room, and I knew the perfect place to hide. Somewhere none of us ever hid before. The attic.
Oh, shit.
It was just a place none of us ever thought as a hiding spot. Maybe I could start using it
You're
as
gonna
my
get
usual
stuck up
hiding
there.
spot, I thought to myself. It was a step-in attic attached to a big closet, so there was no ladder or anything. I shut the attic door behind me and tried my best to navigate the attic in the dark.
Oh.
I got about halfway across when I found a box and a big black bag that seemed to be perfect to hide behind. Now I wait, I thought in my head.
No one's gonna find you.
For some reason, the act of sitting in a dark place doing nothing never got boring when you tagged it under the activity of hide and seek. I felt a rush the entire time, anxious that I'd hear the attic door open and my sister rushing inside. I was kind of subconsciously counting the minutes, even though I wasn't actually counting second for second. It was too dark to check my timer.
Yeah, we
I
all know
figured 4
what a
minutes
minute
had
feels
passed,
like.
so it was
I think.
almost time to go back downstairs. But just then, there was the sound of a big bag being crumpled. Wait, I thought. Did I not notice one of them sneak in here? Maybe it was my brother. But then again, maybe it was my sister. In fear of it being my sister, I didn't want to call anything out. If I just waited out the timer, I'd be good. And sure enough, a few seconds later, the pocket timer started beeping, signaling the 5 minutes was up. So I safely called out, "We
He's
win,"
in the house.
but whoever was crumpling the bag didn't reply. They did, however, stop crumpling the bag to create an uncomfortable silence. One of them were messing with me, I knew it. I went back to the attic door and turned on the light. As the light came on, I briefly saw the top of someone's head ducked behind a wall of boxes to my left. It was short hair, it had to be my brother, so I called his name in a mocking kind of tone as I walked over to the wall of boxes. I was preparing to jump over it and scare him, but I wasn't the one doing the scaring in the end.
Oh, shit.
On my way over to the boxes, someone stood up from behind the boxes. Not my brother, but a full-grown man rather. He had his finger on his lips and said, "Don't freak out. That's exactly what I did."
Again.
I shrieked like a little girl and left the attic in a hurry. I think he followed me to the door and stopped because he didn't chase me down the stairs. My brother and sister were already in the living room. I told them to run outside because there's someone in the attic. I guess they believed me because they hurried behind. All we could do was run to our neighbor's house, who called the police and then our parents for us. I know it's a cliche ending, but the cops did show up and the intruder was gone, which unfortunately meant I could never actually prove to my family or anyone that there was someone in the attic that day.
Damn.
But I can assure you, it's true and it did happen.
Crap. There could be someone hiding in your attic. That's the point of these stories. Listen to that fucking ominous music. Let's change it up. How's this? That's not too bad. That's a little more chill. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good. Mr. Nightmare tells a good story. He finds some good stories. Oddly enough, I like the first one the best, because the first one, we're not sure who's in the attic. It's open-ended. It's the other two where the person was caught. First one's more mysterious. Who was in the attic, if anyone? Were you still dreaming? Was your mind playing tricks on you? You know? Like I said, I'm open-minded to ghosts, but what's cool is that I remember when I first became open-minded to the paranormal, and I started to organize all of my ghost stories at one point, and I realized that a lot of my stories happened before I became open to that kind of stuff. So it's like, you may not realize it, but you probably have ghost stories and don't even know it. Stuff that you just brushed off is, your head playing tricks on you. Maybe. Anyways, this was damn good. Glad I could come back late as I was, and yeah, hopefully you'll be seeing me a lot more. Been a couple of days, but it's good to be back. I'm still active on Instagram, Twitter. If you like this video, be sure to let me know by giving it a like, sub if you're not already, all that stuff. And yeah, appreciate you. Oh god, hope you don't get nightmares. I might. Alright, well, yeah, if you like this, you probably also get a kick out of that shit that I'm gonna put right there. I'm Louis Vision. It's kind of perfectly timed with the music right as it's fading out. Pretty cool.